very unique thing about In the Heights is that it blends musics from all sorts of different places. It's salsa, merengue, traditional Broadway tunes, rap, hip hop. It's all married in this sort of beautiful way because it comes from this person, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who was born and raised in Manhattan, whose family came from Puerto Rico. So he had to deal with that topic. He had to deal with what is home. At the same time, he was being raised in Manhattan, so he was listening to hip hop, and he was listening to Broadway, and he was listening to salsa, and he was listening to Latin tunes. So it all sort of married in him in a beautiful way. And so when he actually sat down to write a musical, it came out of him.
Me and my cousin running just another dime a dozen, mom and pop stop and shop, and oh my God, it's gotten too darn hot.
So you've got Usnavi. He's grown up here. His parents passed away when he was young. He's grown up in New York in the 80s. He's going to speak in fluent hip hop. That's his way of entering the world. As opposed to Abuela Claudia, moved here from Cuba in 1943. She's here for the birth of mambo and salsa, but she also has these folk rhythms from her childhood. So that's how she enters the world, and that's how she expresses herself. And by having these generations, we are able to tell the story in all of these different musical idioms.
The first thing Lin does is that he'll write the song, and he usually writes in GarageBand, which is like a Macintosh-based computer program where he'll go in and lay down beats and lay down piano parts, and then he'll record his voice on top of that, and then he gives it to us, and we kind of take it from there, and we kind of add our own flavor to it, whether it be like different instruments, different horn lines, for example. We add vocal harmonies on top of that based on ideas that we have, or based on ideas of what the story is telling, or what character is singing.
Oh, I get it, you the strong and silent type. Well, I'm the Caribbean island type, and I could drive you wild all night, but I digress. Say something so I don't stress.
No hablo inglés.
Yes!
What you were talking about is sort of the arranging aspect of what we do, where we get the song, we sort of move the parts around until we have a cohesive song. Once we're done with that, we do what's called orchestrating, where we take the song that we have and giving more of our own thing to it, we write all of the parts for the entire pit band. And so that's essentially what an orchestrator does, is they develop the song and then write it for the whole pit band. So every drum part, every trumpet part that you hear was written by us. That's essentially what we do. Is that good?
That's actually pretty well said.
Thank you.
If I win the lottery, you'll never see me again.
Damn, we only joking. Stay broke then.
What we tried to do within the Heights is really try to reintroduce popular music to theater music. It works within the context of the show, like 96,000.
We can pay off the debts we owe.
We can tell everyone we know.
I could get on a plane and go. We're swimming in dough, no tiptoe.
That works within the show and helps tell the story, but you'd also be unashamed to blast it in your car stereo. It's got a lot of bass in it, and it's just a good hip-hop song. So I think people who have a conception of musicals are pleasantly surprised that this sounds like music they might hear on the radio.
I just find that Latin music really gets people going. There's just something about it that is so rhythmic and just so propulsive and it's just mood. So I think it makes people kind of want to dance a little bit. That's actually my favorite compliment when people watch the show. They say, "Man, I just had to do everything to keep myself from getting up in the aisles and start dancing." I'm like, "That's great." That's what I love about Latin music.
And the Tony goes to Alex Lacamore, Phil Sherman, In the Heights.
Yeah, it was a huge, huge honor. Bill and I would always joke about what would happen if we actually won the Tony, which became the opening line of the speech was like,
"Hi, we're Alex and Bill, and we just pooped our pants a little bit."
To know that we put in all this hard work over the course of really 5 years, and to be rewarded in that way was really just it just made us feel so good and so proud of what we did. I mean, we were proud already, but to get that on top of that, and then the Grammy on top of that was just wow! Our heads exploded, basically.